Dinner for shoes, please. Hi, welcome to an episode of Dinner for Shoes. I just clapped, which you didn't see that part, but every time I film an episode of Dinner for Shoes, I have to clap so that Megan can align my voice with the filming, the recording, and my ring hit my pinky, and now I'm experiencing neuropathy. Hi, sweetie. Are you here for a filming of Dinner for Shoes? You know when you have a day where you hate all your clothes and then it becomes a mess on the floor? That just happened to me. I spun my outfit wheel and I got denim. I landed on denim, so I knew I needed to start with denim. Well, a lot of my denim clothes don't fit, and I just haven't tried them on in a really long time, and it turns out that my butt has grown. So whatever. I'm going to blame it on salad core and nothing else. And I was getting frustrated, and Nick is in the bedroom working, and I was just going through my clothes and like stomping around and like throwing a fit as one does, right? That's normal. And being a brat. I'm probably going to say brat a lot in this episode because I'm obsessed with having a brat summer now. Go Kamala. And go Charlie XCX. We would not be brats without you. And anyway, so I basically, I didn't know what to wear, and I like needed to do my makeup. I have to get this episode recorded. So I like stomped out of the bedroom, and there was a big pile of clothes, and I settled on this outfit, which I personally find to be boring for me and my aesthetic, but it's fine. I settled on it. I also wanted to wear a bodysuit because of our special guest today, which we will get to, but regardless, I stomp out of there and I just tell Nick, I never want to see any of these clothes on the floor again. Just get rid of them. So he just like wearing his blue light glasses, like typing away, like, yeah, sure, whatever. I'll get rid of them, but it was stressful and hard. And I feel like I'm still getting back to being me right now. I did make myself a cocktail that I forgot to get. Maybe I'll get it. I'll get it when I get my because it's the weekend. I'll get it when I get my my food. See, the words today. I'm a little nervous about how this episode is going to progress. Okay, so anyway, let's just get into the episode. We're just going to start talking about it. I had the Couturetionist on Dinner for Shoes, and I love him. I've been a follower of his for a while. He is an acrobat living in Las Vegas. For anyone who doesn't know him, his name is Kevin DeMaro. He is such a pleasure to talk to. I really think you're going to love our interview today. Basically, he was an acrobat first, but fashion has always been a hobby of his. And he is one of those people that you might follow on Instagram or TikTok already who does fashion reel reporting. And I think I just kind of made up that term, fashion reel reporting. And I think I like the word real because not only is it an actual social media reel, but these people are very real. They aren't being assigned this work, right, to report on fashion. It's just a hobby of theirs, and they love it a lot. And they are so educated in fashion and fashion history and the designers at the different designer houses and whatnot. And so they just serve basically their personal opinions on runway collections, celebrity red carpet looks. Like literally one of Kevin's specialties, the Couturetionist specialties is talking about like crazy designer items that you didn't even know existed. He talks about Hermes baiting, which if you didn't know means like you can't just walk into Hermes and buy an Hermes bag. You can't just walk in and buy a Birkin. You have to kind of be like a trusted customer of the brand. So he has this series where he talks about like all the things that you can buy to be noticed and legit enough to buy a Birkin. So he is really, really real and cool. And that's one of the topics of conversation that we talk about in our interview. But I mean, I think it's very different, right? When you're speaking and reporting for yourself and you've got your own shtick and you've got your own personality, which is basically what I'm doing here. I just think that I'm nowhere near as well educated as some of these people are. Like it really blows my mind. I would say I am educated in fashion. Obviously, it's my career, but these people have like their niches and they read and research a lot. As you're going to find out, it takes Kevin like 2 hours start to finish to produce a reel when he knows that he wants to comment on something going on in the fashion world, which is nuts. And like, I give him so much credit for that. So Anyway, he is an acrobat. He's living in Las Vegas. We did talk a little bit about what his costumes have looked like. And throughout history, like there have definitely been some that he's been excited to wear, but obviously safety comes first. The things that he does are crazy. Like he is incredible. He's obviously very talented. He's a gymnast. He has worked very hard. So he kind of is like on his social media combined his acrobatics with his love for fashion and his fashion reel reporting. We are going to discuss a few other fashion reel reporters that all have different niches and different shticks, but that I enjoy following in case you want to get into it. I basically am like a fashion reel reporter wannabe because you see like I do this podcast, but then I'll always like go on like after a red carpet and like try to talk really fast and like say a bunch of shit about what I thought about the looks. But my problem is that I have too many. Okay. That was cool that just got caught on camera, but Nick, Trish and Kit just pulled down the entire curtain. Girls, are you okay? They're okay because they ran away, but like they were playing in the curtains and they were like getting all tangled up in the curtains, which they love to do because they're really long. And I'm not going to blame this on Nick, but he has like dorm room curtains and this rod fell down. Well, now my lighting is kind of messed up, so let me see if I can fix it. I guess we'll film the rest of the episode like this. This is not the ideal lighting, but this is the situation now. So you can enjoy this lovely glow. And hopefully the sun goes away so that this is a better lighting situation. Okay. We'll get that taken care of. Nick and I actually are getting new curtains for the bedroom and the living room, thank God. So this will be fixed soon, but we're in progress. Okay, so where was I? Let's go to the outfit behind the shoes because, of course, I wore a bodysuit because Kevin's an acrobat. Didn't have to tell you that. I'm sure you knew. But let's do the outfit behind the shoes so that you can know what I'm wearing. And then you'll see my interview with Kevin. We'll talk a little bit about some of my other fashion reel reporters that I follow. It's not many, but I have my faves. And then we'll get into the food I ordered today from Honeygrow, which is a Hoboken restaurant. I believe it's a chain. Okay, so I am wearing these André Assous shoes. I love these sandals. I really love, so they're so comfortable. I always think when I'm getting like a wicker or raffia sandal, I'm like, and is this going to be comfortable or is it going to rub up against my skin? These have a very wide footbed. So there's no rubbing going on. They're super comfortable and the shapely heel, which I love. I love a heel that has a little personality to it, a little kick. This heel is so low, so it's just perfect for me. This is like my ideal height of a shoe always. I chose these today. One, because we just did a giveaway with André Assous. If you checked out our Instagram, you probably saw it and hopefully you entered the giveaway. You'll be a lucky winner someday. So will I. But I love the crisscross design detail on these shoes. And honestly, it reminds me of just the way like acrobats flip all over the place and do crazy things and I like crisscross their limbs. So I was like, this reminds me of, and it also ties back into the food because spoiler, I got noodles from Honeygrow. So noodles also remind me of like Kevin's body when I'm watching him on social media, just like flip all over the place and like to contort himself through hoops, So that's this. And so I decided that I wanted to complement the color of the shoes, which I would consider like a cognac-y color. I love this color. I just feel like it's really perfect for summer and actually year round, honestly. But with my Polène bag, and I love this bag. I actually wore it as a crossbody throughout my Greece travels, but I have it on like the shoulder bag length today. I think this is a really cool length. It's not like too to the shoulder where it's right underneath your armpit and you get sweat and deodorant on it, but it's like a little bit lower. Cool. My bodysuit, which is the foundation of the look and obviously speaks to Kevin and his acrobatics and those costumes because it's like, that it gives side boob. Whatever. Vegas. We're going to Vegas. What's the word of Vegas? Side boob. Yeah, Kevin lives in Vegas. So it's like, okay, it's perfect. It's like the uniform that is there. It's a bodysuit that I could contort my body in. And if Kevin taught me his acrobatic tricks, I could wear it, but it also gives side boob. which is sexy, which is Vegas. And then I am wearing this Daze Denim skirt. My jewelry is just some gold jewelry. This is the gold ring that Nick got me in Greece. And yeah, the cats are still very confused about what just happened with the curtains because they were having so much fun playing in there. Okay, so first, I want you to go ahead and listen to what Kevin has to say about his business, what he's building, what he's doing over in Vegas, what he thinks of the fashion there, and how different it is from other fashion capitals in the world. You'll hear about some of his favorite brands, how he comes up with ideas for his reels, and how he stays real when he's filming the reels. Go ahead and check out our interview. I hope you enjoy it.
My name is Kevin, and how everything came to be is a little unique because it's a blend of all of my worlds that I never really foresaw being the brand, which I find kind of interesting. Anyways, I grew up as a gymnast. I'm a second generation. When I graduated high school, I had no skill outside of gymnastics. And I kind of about halfway through high school was stuck with like, what am I really going to do in life?
Mm-hmm.
And then I came to the realization, I was like, well, I'll be an acrobat. So when I was 18, fresh out of high school, moved to Las Vegas, and I did the acrobatic thing for a few years. And when I first moved to Vegas, like I didn't know anybody. So I did a marketing internship, like on a whim, mostly because I would know people, like I'd have somewhere to go. I'd have people to talk to. Like I'm a very social person. And so I got further into the marketing world, and my account actually kind of started off of, I was speaking to, I've always had a passion for fashion and been very interested in it and things like that. But the first video that I made that like really went viral was I was commenting on the marketing behind Hermes and the Birkin and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
And from there, it just kind of morphed into a fashion account. And I am a professional contortionist, and I have a background in marketing. So the name just seemed so fitting. Like when I was deciding like what I would call the account, and I more so was thinking up a unique name because in the beginning, I didn't tell anybody that I was making this content. So I was like, I'm just going to start completely over. And my TikTok used to be my name. And then like, as soon as the video like took off and I made like a couple follow-ups and I grew a little, like a very tiny following, like I think like maybe like 10,000 or 12,000 in my mind, I had made it. So I was like racking my brain. I was like, okay, what do we call this that I could like still be in the witness protection program?
I love that. Well, that's incredible. I also think it's like so amazing when one video kind of like catapults everything. And obviously the name is brilliant. I feel like that has to be why people like they come to your feed, they see your kind of intro video at the top and you're like, this is just a brilliant idea. But so like being in Vegas is you're kind of in like the perfect middle ground area because obviously you're still working in shows and being an acrobat, but then you do have like a fashion presence in Vegas, but I feel like it's lesser known for a lot of people who think like, oh, Paris, New York, like those are the fashion hotspots. So how would you describe the fashion inspiration that is in Vegas and just like what style is like there?
I mean, something that I say all the time is like, Vegas is the Wild West. And I think that that's why I love it so much because we are very much a melting pot, like a middle ground. So we're getting people on a daily basis from everywhere. And what I like about that is I find that Vegas style is very inspired by that, of like people coming from New York, coming from California, Paris, you know, some of these much bigger cities, because Vegas really isn't that big in the grand scheme of things.
Mm-hmm.
It's actually quite small. And I find that especially for a lot of locals and things like that, that a lot of that is influenced by all that we get to see on a regular basis.
Yeah. That makes sense. Now, when you are performing, do you think of that like from a fashion perspective and let's say like the costumes that you've had to wear? One, I guess, has there ever been anything that you were like, oh, this is really cool and I can't wait to wear this? And two, do you kind of think of that as like separate from what you do from a fashion perspective? Or is it kind of one and the same for you?
In all honesty, I do find it to be quite separate because there's a lot of factors that go involved, especially into the type of performance that I do and like the circus world and things like that. It's like at the top of the list has to be safety.
Mm-hmm.
Then has to come practicality. You know, so like for the things that you're doing, are you going to be safe in it? Is it going to be practical? Is this going to sustain you know, however many shows? And I think that especially on the artist level, it's very hard to have a say in the actual final product, you know, like in the design aspect or like, I guess the art behind it. Mm-hmm. Whereas it's more like, are you going to be safe in this? Can you wear it? Yes. Here it is.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, that makes total sense. I mean, was there ever a show you were in that you did also kind of get giddy because you liked what you were wearing as well?
Yeah. So one of my very first contracts, my coach at the time, Luba Kazantseva, who's an amazing woman, drew a sketch of a costume on like a 5x7 piece of notebook paper. And I sent it off to a costume designer in, I want to say like Wisconsin or something, mm-hmm. and like my measurements. And it was probably my favorite costume ever. It was this like asymmetrical bird. So it was like nice. Just half of the body, mm-hmm. but it was just incredible. Like the design on like a literal scrap piece of paper and then a woman taking that paper and my measurements and just making like the most perfect, like visually striking costume was probably my favorite costume that I've ever worn.
Yeah, that sounds totally incredible. That's the thing about a costume is I feel like, yes, there are so many fashion pieces that are extraordinary, but like to see something come to life that you then are able to perform in is probably a really cool feeling for you. To change the subject just a little bit. So first of all, I didn't know that like your first viral video was about Hermes, but you have so much good Hermes content. When you do decide like, I want to report on this, I want to make a video on this, what do you do? Do you do any research? Do you feel like you kind of already have the knowledge? And then I guess like how long does it really take you to create that video from start to finish?
It can all depend. I would say the inspiration really comes from, I'm very active on my page. Like I am in the comments, I'm in my DMs. Like I really make my best effort to connect and like really take a step back and, you know, see like what do people want to see? What are people interested in? And I feel like that really helps to influence like what I'm going to report on. And I would say from start to finish, the process is maybe 2 hours in total per video. Mm-hmm. And that is from when I conceptualize and I say like, okay, this is what I'm going to do a video on. Then I do some research and then I really try to like take a second and look at it and be like, what is this?
Yeah.
For better or worse, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And I would say that there are times too that it takes a lot longer. You know, if I'm doing a series on, you know, pieces that I don't like or I wouldn't buy, things like that, there is times like I look at something and I'm like, this is hideous.
Right.
And why is it hideous? And then I'm like, kind of like it. I really like it. Okay, back to the drawing board.
Yeah.
So, it all depends.
Now, let's say, so basically like, you don't have to tell us your tips and tricks, but when you are in the comments, when you are kind of looking at your insights and seeing, oh, what are your followers really responding to? What do you think makes a very good quality fashion reel on your personal account? And like, let's say you created the video and then you're examining it and you're like, what is this? Like, do I need to add anything? What are some of like those last minute, maybe that checklist where you're like, oh, does it have this? Because my videos that have this quality really perform well.
Yeah, I think that the thing that performs the best is how genuine the video is and how much it really is me speaking my mind versus forcing, like trying to come up with something. And that's what I was saying, as there's times that I'm looking at it and I'm looking at the product and I'm trying to dislike it, but I can't. And I think that people really, I think it's very underestimated in the influencer world of like people's ability to read authenticity in many forms,
Yeah, I think that that's very true. And I think that kind of speaks to my next question too, which is just like, have you ever had an experience, I guess, where you allow like a brand's status almost to sway you? Like, do you ever get lost, I guess, in that element of like, do I really like this? Do I just like this because it's TK designer? And how do you kind of deal with that? How do you, take a step back and kind of be like, I want to be my authentic self. So I'm going to like remove the brand status from the equation and just say what I think.
I think that the way that I'm able to do that is I like every brand for different reasons. And I think that everything is very situational. So I try to remove like, for example, like I love Chanel, but I still think that they are absolutely not worth the price. And some of the designs are absurd and the quality has gone down.
Right.
But still love it at the same time,
Of course. Yes.
And I think that once you kind of reach that point, and I think it can be applied to a lot of things in life, that you can love one thing about something and not everything. And just because there is something about it that you don't like doesn't mean that you're not a fan of it, or you can't like that.
Yeah. Like if you can't be in the conversation, then how can you even consider yourself a fan? So that makes total sense. But to kind of flip the script a little, do you have any brands right now that you are obsessed with? Can be fashion, can be accessory, can be home, can be anything. Do you have any maybe like lesser known brands that you recently discovered that you may not make a video about, but you're like loving?
Okay, so there is a smaller brand that I can't say too much about because it hasn't launched yet. But there is a cruise ship captain Kate, who is coming out with a jewelry line.
Okay.
And it's going to be special. That's literally all I can say. And she is one of the sweetest, most kind human beings ever. And I actually only follow 5 people on Instagram. And
really? Okay.
my publicist, her agency, Cirque du Soleil, Vogue, and Captain Kate. This is going to be a very special jewelry line.
Okay. Well, we will follow and keep our eyes on that.
Yeah. As far as, maybe some more well-known brands, I have to say lately I've definitely been resonating with Bottega Veneta, which is like a very hot take for me because I have been, it just has not felt like me. But lately I'm really vibing. I feel like some of the colors are really up there as far as just a bit more unique without being so over the top. You know, like it feels like just enough extra without being overkill.
Absolutely. Love that. Okay, and now as a personal brand and just kind of like your vision for the future, because assuming, unless you've announced something that I missed, that like, you know, you're still going forward with the Instagram itself, your personal brand, as well as being an acrobat. Do you have any like high hopes for the future? Any 2024, 2025 goals? What can we expect?
There is a plan to launch a podcast later this year. And I'm comfortable to say that's the plan, and I'm also comfortable to say that if it doesn't happen, don't be surprised.
Yeah.
Like it literally is a circus around here. But that's the plan. You know, we've been in talks for a couple months to do this podcast. I just, you know, kind of what I was speaking to before of, you know, being as genuine as possible. I just want to make sure that I'd rather put nothing out than put something out that I don't actually believe in. And that's kind of where I'm at right now, is just making sure that like the team behind it is incredible and they're really like giving me that kick in the ass that I need to like get the ball rolling. However, I feel like I've built my platform off of like really taking my time, and there have been moments that I've stepped away for like a month at a time or 2 weeks at a time that I don't make content because it just doesn't feel organic. Maybe it's situational to like what's going on in my life, or, you know, so I just want to make sure that when I do put something out there that it is of quality and I feel the best version of myself.
Yep. Completely. Well, we will keep following you for your relatability, your realness, your talent, everything. Thank you so much for tuning into our interview. I really hope you enjoyed learning all about Kevin and what he does. I loved talking to him. I just had the best time with him. He made me laugh, and he's obviously so talented in so many senses of the word. To talk to you about some other fashion reel reporters that each of them kind of have their own niche and their own shtick really quickly. Another one I like, his name is Luke, and he goes by Haute Le Mode. He does a lot of runway reviews. So if you're into less of like the product and like, oh my God, like these crazy, like, oh, Kevin definitely reports on like runway too and red carpet. I think they all do a little bit of that, but I would say Luke's Haute Le Mode, that specialty is a little bit more runway reviews, couture runways. He's very funny too. A lot of them use the little microphone, which I'm like, should I use one of those? And they just inspire me. So that's one. I Deserve Couture is another one. I really like Hanan's bio here. It says, PhD in meme, master degree in throwing shade, minor degree in fashion, parentheses, for now. He will also just kind of comment on like the zeitgeist, like cool red carpet looks that happened the night before. He also has the tiny microphone, and he'll also comment on like cool campaigns that come out or celebrity magazine covers. So this one kind of runs the gamut a little bit more. Someone else, if you want to go for a cool girl vibe, is Romy Talks Fashion. I really love her as well. Her little specialty, her shtick is she makes her little, she does a lot of green screen reels, and she makes herself really small on the video, but you still like, relax. She's looking at my shoe and she just like got scared of it. Can you relax? Honey, that's my anklet. Oh my God, I forgot to mention I'm wearing an anklet. So Romy Talks Fashion, she makes herself very like small on the screen, kind of so you can see like what she's talking about, but she also reports on anything and everything fashion going on. So definitely check her out as well. The next one is Shift Fashion Group. Now, Shift Fashion Group also has a very large following on TikTok, as a lot of these fashion reel reporters do. But what I really like about what they do is they kind of expose a lot of fake theories about different fashion brands. They literally take items that are like viral items or very popular designer pieces, and they rip them up and really go through like each and every element of that goes into the piece to see how it was made and if it's worth the price. So one of their like series is called Revealing Industry Secrets Behind. So there's one for Aloe Yoga, there's one for Lululemon, and then they also do, they have a bunch. And then they also do what it costs. So they break down an item and they're like, this is what it costs, but here, based on everything we're finding when we're tearing apart this item, here's how much it really took to make this item, so you know how gypped you're getting, which so helpful, right? I mean, people are still gonna buy the items, but helpful to know that we're being gypped. Someone who's similar to that and kind of takes like a similar approach, Tanner Leatherstein. This one is a little bit more focused on bags. So if you want to, let's say you want to invest in a bag. Like I was looking at the one on Men's or Gabriel's bag, and you want to see like, is it really worth the price? How does the leather hold up? These videos show in depth how different products are made, and they just kind of expose the quality behind these bags. So this is specifically to leather. And you already know about the Couturetionist. We just talked to Kevin. So Kevin is probably my favorite. That's why I'm so glad that I had him on, and it was such a pleasure talking to him. Now, why I chose Honeygrow today, which is the next step here, is because noodles, Kevin's body bends like a noodle when he's I was just like watching his videos of him doing his acrobatic, him performing, and I was like asking, really, I didn't think of the noodle idea, producer Megan did. I was just like, what should I get? Like, what has to do? They gave me a plastic fork, and maybe I'll use the plastic fork. So I love that Honeygrow gives their noodles in these boxes. I love this. Okay. And I forget exactly what I got. I got to look at my order. I think I got egg white noodles, which is so cool to me. Who knew? Oh, this looks really good, actually. Egg white noodles. I got sesame seeds, spinach, onion, garlic, chicken, scrambled eggs, because you know how like in a stir fry, it's basically just like Honeygrow is just like stir fry essentially. And you take the noodles out and you eat them. But I really haven't had Honeygrow in such a long time. You take the noodles out and you eat them. No shit, Sarah. So let's take a pic. If you noticed, when I was taking, so like my album cover art, my episode cover art is me kind of like trying to swirl the straps of my shoe. Oh, the cats are being fed now. Perfect timing. Around my fork. So I was just really going for like this moment. All right. So I got the chicken, I got the mushrooms, I got the sesame seeds, I got the spinach, I got the onions, I got the scrambled egg. Let's see. That was good. Oh, wow. That is really, really good. Wow. Also, who knew you could make noodles out of egg whites? Not me, but I was like, I have to try this because there are so many different noodle options. Wow, this is delicious. I can't believe the cats are over there getting dry food instead of eating this with me. Okay, and then I didn't say this, but the second reason why I chose Honeygrow is because all of these fashion reel reporters, and I should have said this before when I was like introducing the idea of the episode, that would have been smart, Sarah. But all these fashion reel reporters, since they all are very real and they have their shtick, I feel like they grow so quickly, hence Honeygrow. And it's all about growing on social media, growing your following, but not just any following, a following that really appreciates your shtick, what you do, how you cover the fashion news, and how you report about it. And I just think it's so cool that Kevin has his own niche his own following, but then he also has like his whole acrobatic journey to be admired and learned about on his Instagram. So that is all I'll say. It's not all I'll eat. I'm gonna sit here and continue eating. And yeah. You should try Honeygrow if you're in the Hoboken area. This is really good. I'm probably going to eat this whole carton. I would say that my favorite part of it is actually the scrambled eggs. The scrambled eggs are a really nice touch. Kind of like the way that they show up in fried rice, but this is lo mein. Anyway, sorry for all the snafus today. We had a horrible outfit decision making, so I came on not in a good mood. My words are all jumbled still. I probably should have gotten that tequila. And then the curtain fell down. The curtain fell down and I am still stunned. And Nick never came out of the room, which makes me think that if something happened to me and the curtain fell on me, he wouldn't know right now. This episode would not be filming and recording. I might not be here when he got out of this room. I should just go. I will see you next time. Like, subscribe, follow Dinner for Shoes, which is kind of the same thing as subscribing. And I'll see you next time. We have another really fun special guest next week. Spoiler, summer jewelry. Bye.